My name is Elisa Solis. I'm 22 years old and I was born in Redwood City and I grew up there like my whole life.
My name's Courtney Fernandez. I'm 21 years old and I grew up in San Jose.
So when I was younger, I was sexually abused.
But when I was younger, I faced abuse by a family friend. And so growing up, I blocked out those memories, but I still had those underlying emotions that I was dealing with.
So I started drinking at a really young age. And when I went to middle school, I started smoking weed. And in high school, I started with coke and pills and eventually ended up going to heroin.
Throughout junior high and high school, I went through an eating disorder and I went through self-harm. When I got to about freshman year in high school, I attempted suicide. My parents looked into kind of what was going on deeper, and I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And I went through high school just feeling like an outsider.
I started using mostly just to avoid a lot of things that I wouldn't deal with and just to like mask a lot of like the hurt and pain that I had that I just didn't want to acknowledge or talk about with anybody.
That's when I was opened up to drugs, because I started hanging out with people and that were dangerous and putting myself in dangerous situations. That's when I turned to cocaine, and I saw that as my outlet. You know, it's you're constantly using, you're constantly doing something, and you're not thinking about why you're using or why you're doing that.
I lost my job and I went to jail because of my drug use.
Throughout that experience, I made so many choices that were not who I am. I never thought that I would call myself an addict.
I got involved in a crime because I didn't have any more money because I wasn't working, and I was facing 7 years in prison, and I was fighting my case for a year, and I just recently got released to House of Grace in October 2016.
So I got into a 30-day program, and in that 30-day program, I heard about House of Grace.
So my mom had picked me up from jail and she dropped me off here. Everybody provided me with everything. They were so welcoming and loving, and right when I got here, they had cooked me a meal. It was nothing that I expected it to be.
I remember walking in those gates and just completely broken and just terrified of what I was going to learn about myself, because I was so used to not looking deep into myself and seeing what was really going on.
So House of Grace has classes that prepare you for just everyday life.
We had classes like boundaries, which was my favorite because I have horrible boundaries. It's because I didn't know what it looked like to have boundaries with people.
Anger management is another good class that I needed, and I've learned to like deal with my problems head on instead of just ignoring it and letting it get worse.
We had a class called relapse prevention, and that class helped me see where I'm triggered and kind of where the areas that I didn't realize had caused me to stumble and what'll help me cause me to stumble in the future.
Knowing what you should and shouldn't do so you don't put yourself in those vulnerable situations has really helped me. And I've been able to steer away from that, and I really don't get tempted to go back out because I just do my best to stay away from all of those things.
Because I know that addiction's going to be something that is always going to be a part of my life, but it's not something I'm going to give power to.
Devotions is every day in the morning. The night before, we read a scripture and we reflect on it. We share our thoughts and our interpretations of it.
Yeah, and the really cool part about devotions was that we had I will statements, and that's what we say at the end of it, and that's kind of a promise that we stick to for the week. We go to the Learning Center on the weekdays, Monday through Thursday.
I've always been told that I was like dumb or not that smart, not book smart. And Dr. Lawrence, Claudine, they really helped me just see that I was a lot more intelligent than I thought I was.
And we get to kind of touch up on the areas where we're weak with math and language. I actually got credits towards college. I didn't go to college. I completely stayed away from that when I was using. And when I got that opportunity, I was really excited to be able to put that towards my education.
They helped me get my resume together. They also had a mock interview, just practice like interview questions and how an interview might be. I recently just got a job at a Mediterranean restaurant. It's a really fun environment, and I'm learning a lot.
So I've been working at a mortgage company for 5 months. I've never thought myself capable of holding a full-time job and taking care of myself. And since I've been there, I've grown a lot just in the company, and I've seen myself take ownership of mistakes. I'm able to grow from that and not dwell on it.
I want to say thank you to the donors for everything that they've provided us with. And like, regardless of our past, like, we're here to change. I really appreciate being given the opportunity to come to House of Grace and given a safe environment to work out everything that I had going on internally that I wouldn't have worked out, and learn to be responsible and prioritize, and also gain a relationship with God, and learn, most importantly, that I can trust people. I really, really appreciate being given a place that I can finally call home.
I look in the mirror and I'm grateful for who I am. And I never thought that I'd be grateful to be Courtney. And being able to say that is the biggest miracle of all, I think, because I never would have healed from all that I've been through if I was never able to accept who I was. That has given me so much strength, and I have a story to share God's glory. Like, I can share the miracle that God has performed in my life, and I can pray that that will help someone else in the future, and allowing people to see not what I've gone through, but what God's gotten me through.